All right, so here we are. I'm
I
here
guess I
with
didn't.
with yeah. What do you want me to call you for the sake of this video?
Call me Nico.
Nico. Okay. So I'm here with
Yeah.
Nico, part of the OPS community or whatever you want to call it, and this is going to be episode 2 of the OPS community talk, and we're going to talk about nothing specific except for maybe some specific questions that I have planned. So yeah, we'll go from there. Do you want to introduce yourself or introduce anything about yourself? Or
Sure. Sure. I can drop me in my type. Yeah, I'm Nico. Yeah, I'm double masculine, ENTP, blast last, consume for like consume sleep play blast. Um, Number 4. So love these hangouts. Um,
yeah, it
yeah, I mean the idea behind like the ideas kind of the notion of these chats. I mean, it is just it's hangout discussion. I think it is just kind of a get to know the OPS community. You know, isn't that what that is? It's like just want to get to know the community a bit more with these interviews.
yeah, it's so yeah, I wouldn't call them interviews. I think I want to stick to the word conversation to hopefully get the vibe
Conversations,
right.
yes.
Yeah. So if to me it's I'm just here for the entertainment value of whatever you provide to me, and yeah, learning about you, learning about whatever you want to talk about. And I obviously have questions prepared, but yeah, it is getting to know the
Inter-
OP community and stealing all of your
entertain
information. Yeah.
Entertainment value. That's interesting. That sounds like some form of FI consume.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not gonna say NE or SE consume, but it's like FI. It's FI coded.
For sure. Well,
I'm here to gather entertainment value.
yes. Yep. You would be correct there, sir. Okay, so the first question actually my when I mentioned that I'd be coming on with a guy named Nico, my wife immediately made a joke or pun about it and said, "Sneako? Do you know who Sneako is?" That's my first question for you.
Oh, Sneako. Isn't he like the cuck guy?
Yes.
Like,
Yes, he is the
yeah, he's
cuck
he's the
guy.
cuck guy. He's the cuck guy who tried to challenge my boy Penguin, my boy
Yep.
Penguin Z0, my boy Charlie, the main man himself,
Yep.
the 6'5" tall god.
Yeah. But no, you
He
are
actually
nothing like
saw me as like
Sneako.
5.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No,
He's
you're way
no,
cooler
I'm
than
not.
him.
I'd hope so. He kind of seems like a bit of a dick.
He does, yeah. He kind of like flip flops. He has this interesting character development arc going on where he apparently got cucked literally, and then now he's
Mm.
like swinging to the other side and trying to figure out his values. He's an interesting character, um, but yeah. Um, so unless you have something else to talk about with Sneeko, that was more of a joke question. But
Wow, that is info dumb as all hell. Oh my god. Yeah. I see the info dump. So that is a joke question. Make sure to take that as a joke. That was a
yes,
joke.
exactly. Yeah,
Like
we
what,
gotta clarify.
bruh? You and Dragon's Neck. Oh,
Oh, cat attack.
she's adorable. Yeah, there you go. Just right off the camera. That's Chessie, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Um,
gotta introduce
yes,
the
yes,
cats. Um,
yes.
so you have interest in Minecraft. I know you like your chemistry. You like your X-rays. Are there any other interests that you have that you want to that you would
Like my
like to divulge?
X-rays. Um, well, I mean, I'm interested in all sorts of phenomena. I mean, I'm just honestly, if you wanted to give it a broad NI term, I'd say just interested in understanding how things work. Yeah, you're welcome. Very, very my type coded, right? Um, very, very interested. Very interested in getting to know people. I had an interest in geology. I have an interest in geology. Weather, all of that. You know, but I could say like a very, very prominent interest of mine is like on the philosophical side. Just understanding, having a understanding of a deeper nature of sorts.
Yeah. So is there any like hobbies that are part of your like daily routine where it's like it seems like you play Minecraft often? Are there other things that like specific things that kind of fall into your day to day?
Let's see. Um, I typically just one thing that I often do is I pace or I run, like I and that really gets the imagination like going. It's going there. I can really, really think a lot more, and I'll just think to myself all the time. You and that's something I make sure to try and do like it once every day. Um, Another thing. I mean, I have like you can call it a daily routine. I mean, I'm interested in supplements. I take a lot of health wellness supplements. But I try and take those every day. You
Oh, I heard
know.
I listened to your Kendrick interview and I feel like he kind of low key roasted you for your supplements and he was just like, "Do I know how many
Oh, you don't
supplements
take enough.
yeah, you don't take enough." Yeah.
And
And
I'm
then
like,
he's
oh, I rebutted with just like, dude, I'm broke. Like, dude, I don't have much money. I'm not. I'm not I get look. I'm spending it all on X-ray devices.
yeah.
you know,
Come on, you're not
it
going to
all
become
got
like
rated by the FBI.
yeah, you're not going
But
to become like Brian Johnson out here and just is that it? Is it Brian
oh,
or Ryan?
that'd be fun. That'd be fun if I could. It's like just take the whole array, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
But I think I've got an interesting stack of mostly like wellness supplements, like more on the nootropic side, to make sure that essentially to make sure that I get like the best usage out of my saviors possible.
Oh yeah.
Like just like if my NT is just gonna kick my ass all the time, it's like better make sure it's done right, and just make sure that my brain is as healthy as possible.
Okay, so then that
One
means
of the things that I try to make
you
one of the
probably
things
want
that
to
I try to make
exercise, right?
yes, one of the things that I try to do is like get on the whole exercise thing, go on runs and whatnot.
And you do
Well, that's
that,
that's iffy. That's iffy.
but I'm assuming
Um,
you do that because you know it helps your brain, right?
yes, yeah. I do that because it helps my brain. It also kind of helps the SF, you know, bulk.
Okay, okay.
But I don't like being double masculine. I mean, I don't really have insane amounts of muscle. And also because I don't exercise much because I'm a bit of a lazy guy. But I supplement that by going on trails. Oh my gosh, nature trails are some of the best. You can get everything done. You can walk, you can think, you can really think deep, and with all the angles and the changing and like the changing slopes and all the debris and ruckus around, it's like you can get a lot of exercise out, and you can be properly winded and properly processed. But no, that is something that I
Yeah,
plan on doing. I've been out of it. Like I've been very, very depressed.
yeah.
um, so
With
my
the
my routine
trails,
and all like the self care and whatnot, I've just kind of gone to shambles. But
yeah, it happens to the best of us.
it's
Yeah,
like that's how it is. Whenever you're in the muck. But I'm working on getting out of the muck.
yeah.
Whenever I
That's good. I feel like with trails, it's interesting because I feel like when you're walking, like what you described with the if you're out in nature and you're walking, I feel like from my experience, it can like put your brain into a little bit of a flow state because it's engaged enough in the activity, but then you're it's not super in your face. It's not like taking all of your mental energy so then you can like think in the background. Do you have that kind of experience when you
I,
watch
I
things?
think of I think of so many like interesting paradigms and whatnot. And it can be annoying because I think we discussed this before. The thoughts and the patterns are masculine, but I don't hold on to the masculine. Like I lose them. Like I drop my marbles.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's where you can catch me on the feminine NT. Um,
Do you ever
but
think about like writing down or getting an audio log, like an audio thing on your phone where you could just like talk it out loud as you're walking when a good idea comes about, then just like spit it
yeah,
onto the phone?
yeah, yeah. It's just annoying because I have to like stop and write, or like stop and actually record or write, and that stops the thinking and then all that. But no, that's something I need to do. Actually, it's like keep a little notepad and pen on me at all times and do a little jot. Um, so
Well, so moving on from that, what do you have? This is always a really interesting question, and it's interesting because of people's reaction to it, not necessarily the question itself. Do you feel like you have a life story that like you could share, or do you have like a packaged idea of what your life is that you like share to people, or how does that work for you?
do I have a packaged NI life story that I could share? Huh? It's such. Oh my gosh, it's so interesting. Whenever I hear that kind of stuff. One second, let me finish up this tangent real quick. Do I have a packaged life story that I could share with people? My gosh, that's NI. Wow. If I've ever seen it, you know. but but yeah, no, I do. I do rather relatively I could say yes. Um but I'm also kind of in it. I'm kind of in the story right now. I'm
Yeah.
like, and right now I'm kind of like overall for a while I've not been in the best place. Ever since like eighth grade, the life just kind of sloped down and down and down. I've kind of been there's been its ups and downs, but I'm not. I haven't been really up. I'm more in hell. Started off kind of with a rougher esque childhood. You my savior's so strong and powerful that I couldn't even be contained in the school system and all that. I was already effing up at first grade. Um, they tell me to write something down. People have three paragraphs. Or three sentences written. Right. In 30 minutes. I have 3 words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I'll just be all over the place. Just saviors beating my ass, like just going at it. Wow. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy like that. I, kind of rough upbringing, and it's a battle against the self. At a certain point, it's a battle against the self and system. You know, of yeah, I know, yeah, yeah, ENTP. I get pissed off at the system. I got to create my own system. You but it's more or less a battle against that because the school system can be very limiting. Uh, it can be very very limiting to my imagination. But that's just how it is. The school system still makes sense and all that, but I'll get defeated by these things and defeated by myself and have all this self-loathing and pain and all that. And I think that the real story is to try and Houdini my way out of that pain, you know, so I can be more in a more processed, better, powerful state. Which I hope I can at least really take this entire more than half of a year or more, because this year, 2024, a year of just year of, and 2025 will be a much. It'll be a year where I really miss this. And learn how to Houdini my way out. I believe that to be true. But wait, give me like until I'm 40. Give me until I'm 40, and I'll come back with an awesome life story. Otherwise, I have stories. You know, but to summarize, just give me until I'm 40, and I'll have a great story. One hell
Oh,
of a
oh,
story.
okay. What's like the earliest story you can remember? Like the earliest story that you would share from your youngest period of life? Is there something like that that you would be willing to share?
Um, so I was like I think 3 or 4 years old, and I was like somersaulting off. I was like somersaulting off an ottoman and whatnot, listening to like I don't know some funky music, whatever, right? Um, but I was somersaulting off an ottoman, and my dad was like cutting some large like sheet paper, and I jumped right onto those scissors. And my dad had a really fast reaction time. He pulled them out of the way just enough so I didn't like impale myself, but I got a scar.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got a nice scar right there. And my dad's like, I'll do it the right way. So he took me into the restroom and put alcohol on that wound. And let me tell you, that was the loudest I've ever screamed from that point. that kind of sucked. That kind of sucked. I don't really
Yeah, I
remember
can
how
I can
much it hurt.
imagine.
I don't really remember how much it hurt like that. But I could say it probably hurt quite a bit. I also have bits and pieces of. In kindergarten, I also used to be like a Lay's guy. Really liked Lay's, but they're out of Lay's. The kindergarten teacher would hand out like chips, like after recess or whatnot. Um, we'd hand out like chips for snack break before like the end of school, and I was kind of the back of the line, so they took all the Lay's. Well, I was picky as hell, so I took the Fritos just reluctantly, but I was hungry. So and
I'm amused that this is a story you
I
remember.
started and I ate those, and oh my gosh, they tasted amazing. I was like, wow, these are great. These are great, and that's how Fritos became like one of my more favorite chips. But they smell like dog food.
Hey, so the first story you shared, how do you feel like that impact? Do you think that informs the rest of your life in any kind of way, or has historically? Because like the way I see it is when you have formative memories, then things kind of stack. Like the logic stacks if you don't go back and like reformulate how you process that moment. So like, is there anything about that that you think still holds true today about almost falling on the scissors, and does that like inform your life in any way and how you see yourself right now?
Well, at that time I was silly and reckless, and I think that can kind of hold true now. Um, though I know that I'm silly and reckless. I know that, so I can more or less be a bit more conscious of it and help mitigate it. But I do like tricking the tribe. Yeah, I'm a silly fucker. Yeah, I'm crazy. Um, I do like messing with their vibe like that, and like giving off the crazy guy vibe. Like I showed off my X-ray. Like I showed off my X-ray tube, and yeah, I'm gonna make some X-rays. Enough that it's gonna be the cancer ray. You know, it's like no, no, no. I'm gonna like I'm gonna make this thing literally as safe as ever loving possible. Like it's gonna be sealed like concrete sarcophagus. And like I give the impression of I'm fucking around, but I'm not fucking with that kind of stuff.
So do you like playing with the expectations like that? I find I tend to enjoy that where I want to let people I feel like I usually want to portray myself as not a threat and then come like full force with as much like oh yeah,
That's
I'm
funny.
not that good at managing I'm not that good at managing my time or something and then just like boom, I'm right on time all the time or early. That kind of thing.
It's interesting because like it functions very doesn't function like that for me. It functions right on the opposite. Whenever I play with the tribe, right? I think this is like masculine D versus masculine DI type of thing,
Mhm.
where you know you want the tribe to see you as more feminine, but then you come with that masculine timing, and you're really solid, you know, the evil master manipulator type of stuff, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that archetype. They come out super feminine, super all that. But no, I do very simple. I do something the opposite of like, yeah, I'm crazy. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm about to give this whole area cancer. It's like But then you see me behind closed doors, just like giving giving food away to the homeless or whatnot, or like giving a needy guy some shelter or whatnot, and
Oh,
just like
that's interesting.
being as generous as possible,
Yeah.
and just trying to be very very hospitable. Like I'll have these swings,
Yeah,
Um,
that's one thing that
but it can
I
be very
think
double edged. It can be
yeah.
very very double edged.
I mean, yeah,
Whenever the
we're
tribe can see me as dangerous, like they joke, like if there's anything explosive now, like if they mention anything explosive, like oh don't get Nico there, don't get Nico there. Oh he'll make it, he'll make it. I'll blow it up, or they'll f with me like hey can you make me some you know uh, XYZ illicit drug, and I'm like yeah technically I could. you know
don't go breaking
it's
bad on me, you know.
easy, it's easy, but like no. But that's like the kind of vibe that like the tribe sees with me. It's like this guy's a little off his rocker. He's a little crazy. One push in the wrong direction, is now they'll take my missiles. But it's like no, no, not actually. I'm not gonna be like that.
Yeah. You know, speaking of crazy, I actually was curious. I went into your channel and I listened to your playlist, your music playlist.
Consume not last fun.
So I went and I listened to it yesterday and first I gotta say good funk jams. Is that the kind of music that you like to listen to, or what are the genres that you find yourself normally gravitating towards? And also, just for the audience, he it was a funk playlist, which is you can usually find that
I didn't know
in
that
a lot
was
of
I didn't
memes.
know that was public. I didn't know that was public. Huh?
Didn't control it, right? Oh, that's funny.
Oh, okay. Well, that's mildly embarrassing.
No, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I like the playlist. I'll go back and listen to it again
No, no, no.
probably.
It's good. But yeah, you know what? Sure, sure, sure. Take a listen to my music. You might hear some like Lady Gaga in there. Some music for whenever the boys aren't around. But
Yeah, yeah.
no, I more or less I listen to a lot of genres. Um, I typically tend to gravitate around something with a beat, but do rock, I do roll, I do funk, I do electro, I do pop, or at least old pop, like nostalgia pop, like
How do you feel
um,
about like synthwave, darkwave, retrowave?
oh yeah, that's really good. I wanted to send Dave Powers. I never got to it, but I wanted to send him a playlist of like some of my synth wave and like dark NF, NI darkness music. You know, it's not
Oh,
NI darkness for me, but but like
yeah.
you'd probably feel like you'd probably take it that way.
Have you ever listened to Plenka? Have you ever heard of Plenka?
Well, I'm glad you recognize that. It's not. That's the word you can use.
Oh,
That's a joke that I'd like to express. Um,
go for it. Do it.
I'd like to fe express, but it's like if you know, you know.
Okay, okay. I'll figure it out later then. I'll probably regret that decision.
It's the X is our word, but you can
The
say
exit.
no, no. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, my brain's not following that, but it's all
Don't
good.
don't don't. Maybe some. Don't. I don't mean any.
It's all good. You're good. Just there's not there's you don't have to dance around it if you don't want to, but we could also just move on. But do you know
Oh,
the
it's so fun. It's so dancing around. It's so fun.
Oh,
But no,
okay.
I don't know. I don't know Plank. I don't.
Okay. It's so I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I believe it's Russian or Ukrainian. It's some kind of like some combination of probably
Hard bass is it?
no, like probably techno. There might be a little bit of oh, what is it? That really annoying genre I don't like at all. That like there's like the loud repeating sounds. Um, oh, it's close to techno. I can't think of the.
That
I
might
feel
be hard bass. You might be talking about this. If it's like Russian in origin, where they have like the weird thumping noises. Um,
I think some of it seems to dip in and out of different genres a little bit,
but I
but
mean, I can check it out. I can check it out.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to
Just
you.
send it to me.
So no, actually, I did want to. I feel like really quick. I actually do want to pull up the. Oh, so are you familiar with Berserk? I'll just go with that.
I'm a little.
So have you ever seen like the
I know of it.
images? Or okay, let me give you another one, another
I know
visual.
the eclipse. I know the eclipse was a berserk reference, like the those who know. But
Yeah,
I haven't seen.
yeah, I'd recommend.
But I've seen it referenced and whatnot. It's like that's one of the ones that I would like to watch if it was animated.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there.
I
You
said
would like to
that's one
watch.
of the things that I would like to watch if it was animated a little better.
Okay.
Like if Mappa or Wit Studio, got a hang of it and like animated that, like ooh, that'd be good. That'd be so good.
Yeah, so in your funk playlist that I apparently wasn't supposed to listen to, um,
Oh no,
there there's some visuals.
no.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. There's some visuals of like there is this one with like a it looked like an anime character with like the dark like the very dark like
I mean, there's
black
probably
and white
probably.
like aggressive
Oh,
looking.
that kind of. Yeah, no, okay. I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that. And typically, whenever it comes to like the funk genre and all that, they'll drop like anime characters and all that in there. Into songs and whatnot. Um, I guess it's like clickbaity. I guess it matches the vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but typically, this might be some sort of pseudo effect or a bias, you know, towards the anime character. But typically, the ones that have the anime characters tend to have better quality songs. Or I'll find a better quality song that has an anime character on it versus like the normal. Like it's slowed down to the perfect pitch and all of that.
Hmm.
Um, Slowed
Well,
down to the perfect pitch,
I,
reverb right, done already.
I was curious about that character. I was wondering if you gravitated towards the image at all, or if it was just the music. But there's like that kind of like dark aggressive. Do you feel that like in terms of demons? Do you feel like you have like a
Sometimes, yeah, yeah.
okay?
It's like, yeah, yeah, no, I understand where you're going there. It's like, yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that vibe of like just the darkness. But I mean, like it never lasts, you know. But I can say that there's like a low, like I've been like in an emotional low, where there's emotional high, like where there's highs, but where there's great joy. But the joy is like it never lasts. Very very fickle.
Hmm.
And same thing with the darkness. Like I can get pretty angry. I can get pretty angry, and that darkness or that um, hatred or whatnot can be there, but it's fickle. It goes.
Yeah.
But whenever it's there, it's pretty. It can hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's pretty powerful.
I don't necessarily have it in my demons per se, but I do feel this very like it's a very destructive like kind of fantasy that comes to my mind of like burn the world
Oh,
down. Yeah.
oh, you do that. Okay, okay. I was wondering if like is that I was wondering if that's like SF rage or masculine F rage or NF rage, like the urge to just wipe everything clean or whatnot.
Yeah. I think it would be
Like
F
if you
maybe.
seen the Lich, if you seen like the Lit, huh?
I think it
That
might
might
be
be the
F
NF or F, maybe. Yeah.
because I think there's a little bit
Um,
of a difference between the NF masculine versus SF, so it's probably very similar and closely tied to both of those.
yeah, it's like I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't. I I struggle to see the sensory, so it's like, am I masculine-ness? Am I feminine-ness? I mean,
You know, it's interesting. I see that with the SI versus SE. I see it where the I think the SE overall, like even though I'm feminine double demon SE, I can handle. I think I overall handle the sensory better than like
oh
a
yeah,
demon
yeah,
SI.
yeah, you do. It's very
But when
easy.
the SI is better. Like the SI has a more extreme spectrum, and the SE is like smaller as far as the worst SE like the SE at its absolute worst is better than the absolute worst of the SI, but the SI beats the SE at the absolute best. I think that's what it seems like to me.
Oh yeah, with the like SI at its best, you have these the NASA dudes, where they have it down to like the absolute nanometer of
Yep.
precision. That looking at that's like wow, that's incredible. They really just delicately manipulate those needles and all that
Yep.
just to get art.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty wild.
no, moving on um, to that kind of thing, to the darkness and whatnot. It's like, do you know the Lich from Adventure Time?
I probably would if I saw him, but not off the top of my head. No.
Um, when
Describe him to me.
comes in, he comes in, he's got just um, fiery green eyes, just a skeleton, you know, with horns. And he walks in. He has such an imposing presence. He only says one command. He goes, "Fall," and just everything goes black, and Finn, he just collapses. He's down, and he starts going off on a monologue. I think he goes like, "There's only darkness for you, and only death for your people. These ancients are just the beginning. We will." I forget the rest. Let's see. These ancients are just the beginning. Oh. I think, well, we will sail for a billion miles or something like that. We will sail until every light has been extinguished. You are strong, child, but I am beyond strength. I am the end, and I have come for you. And that level of darkness, that level of imposing, of a character, it's like that is so raw and just so pure. It's like, ooh, it's like I can call that darkness, but I cannot call that evil. That is not evil.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it is a being acting in absolution to his concept. His concept is the end. It's
So
complete and utter annihilation.
do do you like tap into that? Do you like resonate with that, or like feel what is your response to that type of a feeling?
I'm a part of it. I mean, there's a part of empathy. I have a lot of empathy for many different things, um, and I guess that comes with the FE playbook. But um, he, but yeah, no. There's I guess there's a certain there's a certain emotion of darkness in there that the Lich and characters like that can latch onto and resonate with. As the way I view emotions is like they are very spectrumy, but they're in like the arrows of chaos.
I don't think
You
I'm
know what that?
familiar.
It's a circle just with a bunch of arrows just going out in every direction, like that symbol.
I don't think I'm familiar with it. No.
Guess I can sketch it. I mean, would you like to see it sketched or no?
Well, I could probably just look it up here real quick, actually. Here,
But
one
like
second.
it's but whatever. It's like
And
I don't need to
I'll put it up.
show
I'll put it up after the
you.
afterwards in editing.
You can, but yeah, I don't need to. Whatever way it goes, you could say it's chaotic,
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of hear what
and
you're talking about now.
you could say that it's chaotic, and the arrows are going in every which way. You but for that analogy, what certain characters or certain people or certain entities or places or whatnot can do is they can latch on to one of those arrows like a magnet, or you could say it's like a cluster of magnets where there are nodes, and say a powerful character, in the darkness aspect comes by, the darkness arrow will like line up to it, and it'll get polarized in that direction. So if I see the Lich, I feel the Lich. If I see like dark side, I feel dark side, or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That arrow will be polarized. Um, but same thing for like forces of good. The arrow will get polarized in that direction and whatnot. But the magnetism, with all the arrows can be stronger or weaker depending on my overall mental state.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like I've been going through dark times, so the darkness will be stronger than the light, for the most part. But the light is more positive. um,
Yeah, do you
there's
feel
also
like you use
there's
that dark emotional state as a tool to get you through, or do you feel like you need to switch over
no
to like the light NF?
no, it does not. It's not a tool to get me through, and I think that's something that I asked Dave, like, hey, how do you use the darkness? How do you use darkness as a tool? Because it takes me out, or with the darkness, it just makes me want to like cause ruin to everything, and that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't bring any joy. That doesn't bring any positivity to anybody. It's like
But
that emotional darkness just wants to cause ruin. It's like,
you can
well.
if you can control it though, if you can control those tendencies, and I think this is at least in part what Young was talking about, where if you can integrate the dark
Integrate the
emotions into
shadow. Yeah.
yourself to propel yourself forward, you use the negativity to move you through whatever you're going through. That's how I do it. So, um, it,
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot easier for FI because they own that. It's like owned, so they can use it a lot. You know, um, especially with that masculine NT man, that masculine NT. I mean, that masculine NF and the identity right there. You're gonna be propelled. You're going. But my identity is more partly feminine.
yeah.
You know, even if I get an SI, like to try and ground it. It's like I don't trust it. As an intuitive, I don't trust the SI enough. So it's like,
Well, so how do
you
you
know,
see yourself in all of this? I'm
but
curious. Do you feel
but
is who you are, does that shift over time to like different, do you have different personalities across time, or is there like one main
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
that you
Like
see?
if you were to ask me, like if you again, growth is multifaceted. You're not going to grow just one way up. You branch um, like a tree. But if you were to ask me questions like these kinds of questions beforehand, like say you asked me a year ago,
Before what?
say you asked me like a year ago or 2 years ago or before college, I would answer it differently.
Hmm.
You know, I probably wouldn't be able to. I'd probably give a very, very generic answer.
Yeah.
Back before college and all that. Like, yeah, I'm Nico. You know, and that's all I need to prove.
So what
Which
did that
I can find it.
mean?
I find it interesting. I find it interesting because I could see, me going back and like proving that again. Like you asked me in like 3 more years. Like, oh, let's find I'm Nico. And that's all I need to say. But there's it's like the Dunning Kruger maybe? The little curve, but whatever. It's it's essentially the meaning behind, that sentence of I'm Nico, that's all I need to say. And I'm Nico. That's all I need to say. It's different. The vibe is different.
Yeah.
And that's that can be very, very impactful. Um, but yeah, no, I need to do some shadow work, integrating the self. It's
So
good. I'm very self-processed. At least I'm a lot more.
who was that
But
person from 3 years ago? How would you describe that person that you were perceiving yourself as?
yeah, he'd be more of like I guess a bit more of like he'd be less processed essentially, and like I guess there's a certain vibe to him of depressed but arrogant. Um,
So let me frame it a little differently. So how did you, less from an external perspective, maybe you don't know, but like how did you view yourself back then? Like what did you see? What type of, like, you say you were arrogant, but obviously I would assume if you knew that at that time, at,
it's like
at that
it's
time you
like
would
the
have changed
notion.
that.
No, it's like I didn't know that. But I could see it like back then. It's like I knew I was arrogant, or I knew I had a fragile ego. I mean, I do now, but the thing is like I'm coming out of the notion. Um, like if you ask me then, are you crazy or something? No, no, I'm not crazy. Meanwhile, just kind of in a denial state. Like he's not accepted of anything that's happened. You
Mm.
know,
So you were
um,
denying parts of
and he's
yourself then.
still he's still less he's still less on he's still less processed and all that. There's not even a beginning of starting any form of integration or self understanding. Um, And it's like a linear graph. It's like an exponential graph of where I could say, I could say something similar for, okay, 4 years before that. It'd be an even lesser version of what I'm talking about. I talk as if I had very, very high standards and all of that. And I was kind of a dick. I was a bit of a dick, a bit more of a dick. Um, but not, but an unconscious dick. That's
Yeah.
the issue. Like I can be a dick now, but I'll be a dick on purpose. Like I'll know being a dick, and I can like be like, hey yo, I was just being a dick. I was just fucking with you.
Yeah.
Back then it's like I'm completely unconscious about how I'm hurting people or whatnot. You know, I could really, really ruin somebody's vibe or really make them feel, some type of way and whatnot, and I wouldn't be aware of that. Like for instance, my girlfriend from back then, I gave her a form of trauma because it just had such high standards and all that. Um, and I'd be very neglectful because I was just in my own head and just unaware of being in my own head and not caring of being in my own head, you know? And I think that level of trauma and all of that, and after realizing kind of how much I hurt other people, hurt myself and whatnot, it and it caused me to kind of go in and examine aspects of myself and come to an acceptance of them and integrate them, you know, to where I'm like, to where now it's like, yeah, I can be a dick. Yeah, I'm a dick. Yeah, I'm crazy, but I know I'm crazy. I'm working on it, you know,
Yeah.
or, yeah, I'm in the bottom of hell. Yeah, I was fucking myself over. Yeah, I got fucked with the FBI. Yeah, that gave me trauma and I know I have trauma from it, you know. Um, yeah, I know that that brought the pain and depression back from years ago. Brought that forefront because it's been very mellow. Like the depression was very, it spiked. It spiked, this semester after the FBI. And
Yeah.
it didn't. It never went away, but like it was more. But
It sounds like you're working through a lot, and that's good. I mean, a lot of that
oh
integration
man,
stuff
you
is
should
good.
have you should have seen like Dave's response to me of um, of like, holy shit, of like, man, you went through some shit. Yeah, you got the childhood trauma going. You know, you're full of pain, and and that'll take a toll on you.
Yeah.
Throughout your ages, throughout the ages. Maybe until you're like 30. It'll take you out in your 20s. But you're kind of in the bottom. But he goes, you're at the bottom of hell pretty early. You're fucked pretty early in life. You're not fucked later. You're not fucked in your 40s. You're fucked now. You're more fucked. And even if you're not like actually like SI, technically I'm not, right? Though technically I'm more fortunate. It's like if you're if you truly believe you're fucked, you truly believe you're in the bottom of hell, that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it's
You
relative.
know? Um and relatively I'm going through some shit. Yeah.
So, how do you see yourself coming out of it? Where do you go from here? What's the story you create when you're 40?
I would say it would be more of a spiritual transcendence, honestly. A spiritual growth rather than all the other functions. I kind of see things going more spiritually. But I don't know. I don't know. It's
No, you
That's a
don't.
guess. Um, I could see it. I could see spiritual. Um, you'd have like very spiritual growth. Get more in tune with the SF. Get more in tune with the NF. And all that. Um, but no. It's but honestly, whenever I look, integrating the SS, like integrating my bottom at two ends. That would be the most important. If you were to come and see me, I'd probably be a lot more spiritual, a lot more metaphysical in a sense in terms of my processing. Even even now, people say I'm very wise or whatnot, but you know, wisdom is relative. You know, you can always go up.
Yeah, yeah. I get that.
It's like
So,
I haven't broken through the spiritual barrier yet.
do you see
Um,
yourself as having gone through are you familiar with the Dark Night of the Soul? The Dark Night of the Soul. Are you familiar with that term?
Batman?
No, no, no. So it's in the if if my memory serves me right, there's the Buddhist eightfold path of enlightenment. And in there, one of the steps, it's very similar to ego death, but that is I'm pretty sure that's usually at the very end. That's when you achieve nirvana. The dark night of the soul is what most people would be describing as ego death. It's when you go through a period of having to like reconstruct your worldview, re-question who you are, break all of your
They,
presuppositions.
I think that's more or less where I am.
Okay.
Like I can see my ego dying. Um, it latches on. It latches on. It tries to like grip on to like certain things, but its grip is slippery. Like the SI foundations of like um, intelligence or competence, or all that, like some objective scale. It'll try and like, maybe I can have this. But it's like, nope, no. You must not cling to any, you must forego it all. And I know that. And and I understand that. And whenever I truly do that, whenever I truly let that happen, that'll be when it fully dies. Right now, it's kind of on its like sick bed, you but I could see me coming out of that, like coming out of Nirvana. Like I could see that being more. I could see myself acting more egotistical as a sort of post-ironic nature of now I don't have a fragile ego. Like now the ego's not fragile; it died. So I'm free to act, as an egotistical asshole without any worry because it's
Yeah,
not personal anymore.
yeah.
The
It
ego's
makes
not.
me think. It makes me think
I
of
can achieve
oh
like Dave Powers. You know,
oh
I
yeah.
think his ego died. I think his ego died a while back, but if you go back, probably before his darkness, he might have been less of an asshole than he is now. But the thing is that he's doing that ironically now. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the ego death and the rebuilding of the ego as an acceptance because you're never gonna kill like the ego dies, but it'll rebirth more on your side because you can never get rid of the. I don't think you can completely get rid of the ego, but your nirvana is integrating yourself with all of that because you know you're trying to destroy a part of yourself, you know, with ego death, and yeah, I think that's the case. But you got to let it, and you got to let it go. But letting it go doesn't necessarily mean killing it. It's acknowledging it and accepting it as a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It's more
dies, and
acceptance,
it
letting go.
dies, and you
Yeah.
go through the grief, and that's how you let it go. That's how it dies. But I don't think it technically dies. It gets reborn like a phoenix it, to a much more accepted state. It's like having the it's like having a family member die who committed like a bunch of bad deeds and whatnot. You know, or like Goku, with the spirit bomb on Majin Buu. It's like, I hope you get reincarnated as someone good, you know, at some day. I think that's how it is with ego death. It dies, but it gets reincarnated as something more integrable, more accepting. You know,
And how do you draw that conclusion about it?
his ego is a biological function. It's a biological thing. Um, it's a biological part of one's nature and one's spirit and all that. It's a mechanism as to protect oneself and to hold on to one's identity. You know, it's a protection mechanism essentially. And whenever you let go of that ego, you're not telling it. You're not killing it, but you're telling it now is the time to rest. You do not need to defend. You do not need to protect. You do not need to get hurt. You may rest now, which I
Mm-hmm.
guess you could call it a death. But you know, maybe I'm kind of working my way, getting around this because death to me means more. The notion of death means to where it just doesn't exist anymore. It's like, no, that's not true. Get put to rest.
Well, yeah,
It's
you could get the cycle of life in there too, because whenever things die, the remnants of them are
There's
used to create
rebirth.
something else. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, did it actually die? No. So I'd say more of ego acceptance or ego rest, you know, where the ego does not have to be hurt, defended, or whatnot. No. Um, I believe that is. I believe maybe I haven't gone through ego death yet. Not truly. It's there. It's like coping, but that's it's kind of what I believe it'll be like coming out of the other side.
Well, hey,
But
when you come out
I
the other side, I'll have to bring you on and have you
I'll
tell me
I'll
about
let
it.
you know. I'll let you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I'll let you know. Um,
Well, do you have
lot
more
of
to say on
therapy, a
that
lot of
topic?
EMD, lot of therapy, a lot of EMDR, psilocybin, all that. Really, really helped me process that trauma.
Yeah. So, so moving on, how do you see autism
Yeah,
playing into all of this? Yeah, or if at all, does that affect you at all? Your thinking, your ego, anything like that?
I mean, autism is mainly a cultural label, from what I've experienced, from what I've seen. You know, it's like, hey, you are outside of the standard deviation of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you have these weird rituals, or you have these weird needs, or you have these weird behaviors. So it's a deviation from it, where where no, that's perfectly normal. Just like how there are certain genetic mutations or certain behavioral changes to keep a system or a network more dynamic, more complex, and less prone to being destroyed. You know, you have these certain characters that have traits that our culture and society could label as autistic. Like for instance, like Einstein, right? If his equivalent, was born, um, he was born, today, which I mean, look for you won't you probably find it, some equivalent to Einstein, but double feminine INTP, sleep first, right? Where probably autistic. You probably get labeled as some form of autistic or some form of on the spectrum. Um, but people like that. they have insane contributions to society and make the overall network much more stable, much more sound.
Yeah,
So
diversity.
you have
Yeah.
these, yeah, diversity is very important. Just not whenever it's like done, whenever it's done in the right way,
Yeah.
not whenever it's shoved down like throats. No, diversity is very important, and life does do diversity. It tries so many random things. You know, um, it's like you could have a species that's going well. You have a mutation. You have several mutations, several variants. Of a species that just branch off, and now you have other creatures. Like, well, why are you creating all these other creatures now? Like, what's going on here? Like, why are all these creatures being created? It's like, well, it diverges, and somehow, and those new creatures, they survive, some of them, but others they perish. You know, but that makes a certain system more rigid and less susceptible to collapse. Um,
Yeah,
and
it,
that's
it
what
makes me
it's like
think
with
of
that's what it's
not
like with autism.
non-fragility, I think is what it is, or anti-fragility.
I mean, if you have a line, right? If you have a line of an item, you know, some sort of cable versus a network of cables or a group of cables, which one's easier to break? It's obvious. The one cable, one species, one particular niche, so easy to collapse. Multiple species, lots of diversity in an ecosystem. Very, very hard to collapse. It can rebound a lot easier, you know. Similar thing with humans, that's the idea. With humans, you have this massive network of different people where certain autistics, autistic people labeled as autistic people, cannot survive, or will struggle to survive in our society as it is now. You know, can't function in the typical 9 to 5 or whatnot. So some of them they become cyber furry hackers that manage to hack into the that manage to like hack into some hardcore Republican dudes thing and talked a bunch of crap, you know, or made the next leap in integrating quantum gravity into our understanding of how the universe works. Right? Um, you that is the beauty of diversity versus singularity.
So,
Uh, it
but
helps to
pulling
structure that.
back kind of a through line, yeah, going back to the autism, how do you see the negative traits that are put within that label, and how, if you do see negative traits, how do you, like, what do you do about them, or do you put them within the confines of like the OPS system and just put it as
Well,
like,
it's a label, and yeah, it has its negative confines because typically, whenever you're autistic, that's so sensitive. That must be a sensitive topic. I'm so sorry, or whatnot. You must be like something broken in society or whatnot. It's like, we feel so bad for you. It's like, buddy, come on now. You know, it's a spectrum. First off, you um, and second off, all you're describing is just a form of neurodivergence, and the fact that a certain group or system has labeled something as neurodivergent or autistic and basically deemed them as less capable than the average standard deviation based off of this society is very, very flawed, and I do have a problem with that. Uh, you're autistic. Oh, you get all this special help. Because you can't survive in this society or whatnot. Um, or you get, and that's the issue.
So, so
With
how does it affect you, or does it at all?
well, it does. It does. I can be. And this is also just you could call this autism, right? If I went to anywhere except for the ops community, and I was just talking about myself and what I think and my processing and all that, and I just kept talking about that, kept doing that, kept looping it, kept bringing it back to myself or whatnot, and only chiming in if it had to be talked about me. A very very energy dom mope thing, you know, from the ops community. It's like, holy shit, that's autistic. Everywhere else, right? Like, holy crap, you got a bad case of autism. Um, and yeah, that causes problems. But it's the equivalent of saying, hey, does your energy dom blast last nature fuck you up in social situations? Does your low extroversion hurt you in XYZ? It's like, does your very very shitty SF um, tend to mess you up whenever it comes out or whatnot? You know, it's like, oh, all these would be labeled as some form of autistic traits. But it's just essentially asking that, because all those examples that I mentioned of, oh, does this aspect of your personality type or this aspect or whatnot, does it match? It's like, no. It's like it's like, I mean, not no. Yes. It's like, yeah, it does match autism. So all those traits that I mentioned, I got I got tagged for. They were flagged as a form of autism and ADHD. So, you know, come on now. It's gotten to the point where it's just a shitty label.
Yeah.
It's a shitty label. I I,
So
I disagree. I believe that ops has a very very good use in showing the diversity instead of just viewing a person as, okay, you're autistic. That means they're defective in XYZ way. Oh, do you need like a sensory deprivation chamber? It's like, oh, I'm not that type of autistic. It's like, what? Okay.
so
Oh,
thinking about what you're kind of
so
describing,
many stereotypes.
yeah, well, putting it within that OPS framework, how do you see yourself working on the qualities of, whoops, autism? Um,
Autism.
wait, like in
Well,
Benjamin's stream, for instance, as we know each other through that, as you come on, like you mentioned, there was the other week where I said that I think I said something like the stream was crazy, and you were like, "Oh, I must have screwed it up," and it actually wasn't you. It had nothing to do with you. It was Benjamin was going crazy with some memes and derailing everything. But it seems like you see, um, I presume you see some kind of that, you get feedback there in the stream, and you have that kind of like
oh no, I did,
derailing quality.
no, I did get feedback before that. So I thought you were mentioning, oh, that stream was crazy because I think I like did or talked about some crazy shit beforehand.
Mm.
Um,
So
so
going to into the stream, do you find that to be a good environment of like adjusting the
yeah,
again, quote unquote, autistic qualities, and how do you go about that? Like, what's your process, if you have any, for developing yourself in that way, or what have you?
essentially, essentially I get tribe feedback because autism is a tribe label, you know. So it's like, oh hey, how am I working on autism? Right? Oh, how am I working on like not talking about myself? How am I working on giving people other turns whenever they're talking? Like, you know, are you guys feeling all right? Am I checking on with the tribe enough? Like what's up? You know, I should be doing it right. Um, but the thing is that since autism, again, since the effects of autism are mainly a tribe thing, um, or mainly it's mainly social situation based. Well, I need to up my social competence. It's very simple. Be more aware of, whenever people are talking and not dawdle off and all of that. And it's given a great framework for that to where I can actually get some form of feedback like, hey, you know, am I attuned to this social situation right? I said that. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm not disrupting the vibe too much. I have the chance to apologize if I mess something up, and I can like correct myself and all that. You know, it's really good.
Yeah, yeah, good
And
stuff.
it's
Well,
like, and they're great people as well. Um, to where they will provide that loving environment. They'll give me shit, but they'll provide a form of loving environment to where I can ask those questions and I can grow,
yeah.
and I can see from the tribe perspective where I'm fucking up.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Well, on that note, I think I do have more questions for you, but maybe we'll have to save it for a part two. I think we've gone probably about long enough, and I should probably move on with the day. But are you getting self conscious?
What?
You just look like you're getting self conscious about something.
No, no. I was grinning because I smiled. I'm like, I have all day, and now you're
Yeah,
the guy having to leave.
yeah.
It's funny.
No, but this has been good. Any final thoughts? You know what? Hey, actually, how about this? Give me a blaster lesson from your month or week. What's the lesson you've learned that you can share with the tribe?
Me on the spot here, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm. All right. Last lesson I learned from the week.
And you have to express it in about 2 to 3 sentences.
Can I have like a 10-year hiatus to where I could and have my time to work on this?
Okay, well we can save it
Um.
for next time.
Okay. No. I'll say. Don't be under the belief that you know the tribe. Uh, don't assume that the tribe is going to react in a certain way. More than likely, the tribe will be a lot more accepting than you feel they will be.
Hey, good stuff. I like that. I like that. That's good.